Да.
Fight!
Время убивать.
Okay.
Адская... Я уничтожу его. Ну, если нужно.
Get this damn lock open. Okay, everybody fall in. I'll show you the way.
Все за мной!
Finished.
А?
Yes?
А?
Okay.
What's our heading? Да.
Bonaparte.
Track my wake now. А?
I am ready.
А?
Okay, everybody fall in. I'll show you the way.
Все за мной! What's our heading? Да. Инкра!
Sorry, can't help you.
It seems that your It seems that your clan was incapable of dealing with a handful of intruders. And yet, you promised me the Sword Coast in a 10-day? This displeases.
We will deal with this immediately, my lord.
Elene Bahrain.
Я уничтожу его!
Has fallen. Zehir's favor is lost to us.
Irritating mortals. This sad little victory of yours. What do you think you really won? Unleash your determination then, Heen. I rule over the land of darkness. The more you shine your light, the further away I will slip. Hold on to that hope, Hunter. You are young and foolish, and you walk in the jungles like you own them. This is just one of my schemes, you gnat. You forget, keep Samarak and your Sword Coast. Delayed me you have. Farewell for now, mortal.
знаешь. amazing, remarkable. To think that you faced down the herald of a god, and won! And I could tell the tale. I would let Lady Sasani know of your victory. Ah, such a wonderful end this will make in the book. I cannot wait to read.
My scouts have brought me the news. Indeed, all in the area saw the result of the storm. House Sissean consumes itself with chaos, and the other clans have turned from their influence. The threat they pose to Chult, to the Sword Coast and beyond, it is ended. Trade in the Sword Coast has been stabilized, thanks to you, and I shall do what I must to see that it stays that way. An interesting question. You are a valuable ally. The first time I have admitted such about a scaleless one. But this is strange. I would feel awkward ordering you around as if you were an employee. You have done a great deal already for the Sword Coast, and there's little you can do to improve it any further. Come now, you can't be... Very well. You know the circumstances, so I owe you a favor. What do you want? You cannot... This isn't what I... Fine. Very well. You have my word. I will harm no one.
And so, dear readers, here ends my tale of sinister plots, heroism, and sacrifice. But what, you may ask, happened after the fall of Zehir's dread herald? What was the future of all the lives that were touched or undone by such events? Fear not, my good readers, as my name is Volothamp Gedar. I would not leave you in the lurch, though I am not an historian by occupation. I am a tireless investigator, and I here present what I was able to uncover. Though it played host to us for a time, by all accounts, Samarak remains unchanged. However, my sources whisper that certain high-ranking officials have fallen under Yuan-Ti control. More troubling still is the uncertainty of whether the Yuan-Ti in question still bear fealty to their ancient god Seth, or worship the vile interloper Zehir. Now, as for the fate of the beleaguered Port Last. With the raging storms in the area put to rest, Port Last was able to repair itself and resume sea trade, slowly growing in size as it capitalized on the import of knucklehead ivory from Icewind Dale. Though it has been some time past now, the folk of Port Last still talk about the army of undead that liberated their town, and tales and songs of the incident have become popular throughout the Sword Coast. Except, of course, in Luskan. But that's to be expected. With Port Last free of Luskan invaders, Neverwinter forces acted quickly to re-secure the town, and Lord Nasher himself called the liberation of the town a hero's deed. Her days of necromancy behind her, Naya returned to Port Last, reopening her magic store. Before long, she became known as one of the best resources for magical items in the northern Sword Coast. But what of the tiny village of West Harbor, the childhood home of the great Knight Captain? Safe at last, West Harbor began to grow and prosper. Jan continued to study magic, and with the combined efforts of Laszlo Buckman and Goodwife Aruna, the village became an excellent trading stop for merchants. Today, West Harbor is known as the hidden jewel in the Mere of Dead Men, and its harvest mead is known as the highest quality mead in all of northern Faerun. As for souls who lent their aid, they too have not been forgotten. After the events at the Temple of the World Serpent, Belueth's rage at the cults of Zehir seemed to intensify ever greater, as if she piled all the hate and anger in her heart at the feet of the god and his minions. Eventually, the young woman disappeared from Neverwinter, though cultists tell tales of a yellow-haired woman who appears out of nowhere, slaughters their people by the dozens, and vanishes into the night like a ghost. Finch, the bard, used his experiences in the employ of the merchant company to create a few promotional songs for the Church of Joaquin, for which he was paid handsomely. With his earnings, the handsome bard bid a farewell to the Sword Coast once more, and claimed there was far more of the world he needed to see before he was ready to cede his soul to Sune. The last anyone saw of him, Finch was boarding a ship bound for the distant land of Kalimshan, and already wooing a lovely young noblewoman on board. Grick Bannersworn returned to his order, with tales of the deeds he performed and the things he had seen, and was honored with a full title of Divine Champion by his superiors. Though he was offered the command of a dozen soldiers, Grick politely declined, voicing his intent to see more of the world and learn of its ways, and personally hunt down the worshippers of dread Zehir and bring them to justice. Though almost endlessly impressed with the powerful creatures available to hunt on the Sword Coast, Inshula Sarmashewe eventually began to miss her older sister, Kwesi, and became homesick for her distant home of Tashalar. Carrying many impressive trophies of their hunts, Inshula and her sister returned home to Tashalar. In the chaos that followed the fall of House Sasehin, they worked tirelessly to keep their home city safe and remain as its guardians still. With her revenge on the party responsible for wrecking her beloved ship, the Vigilant, Lastri Kasira quickly returned to her true love, the sea. Borrowing a sum from the merchant company, as an investment of course, Lastri purchased a trim little galleon she named the Serpent's Bane, and once more sailed the waters of Toril, an excellent captain with a capable crew. Though he stayed at Crossroad Keep for quite some time, learning patience and growing in power, Coral was unable to cool his heels in one location for long. When a story reached his ears hinting that his hero, Amon Jero, was rumored to be somewhere in the far east of the realms, the young half-drow packed his things at a moment's notice and set off eastward, in his wild eyes an unwavering determination to reach the far-distant realm of Thay. Regrettably, the fate of the mad monk, known only as Rib Smasher, remains somewhat of a mystery. Shortly after the events at the Temple of the World Serpent, he vanished from Crossroad Keep during the night, bound for parts unknown. The Grey Cloaks, who saw him run out of the entrance of the keep, claim they only heard his jubilant bellow of finding new ribs to smash before he vanished into the night. The loyal servant of Angarod, Soravora Erevan, remained with the adventuring party until shortly after their return to Crossroad Keep, stating that it did not seem a complete journey to her until she walked within the keep's walls once more. Her mission accomplished, the ancient elf reported shortly that her goddess had given her leave to return home, and so she set off alone into the wilderness as she began on the long journey back to Evermeet. Though greatly pleased with the unexpected directions his journey through the maze had taken him, Umoja bore a great concern within him about how the appearance of the god Zehir might affect his people back in the Cholton city of Mesro. Bidding their friends at Crossroad Keep farewell, the druid and his dinosaur companion returned to their home, eager to protect the people of Chult from the subtle evil of their Wan Ti. For those who aided the heroes along the way, their tales lie within these pages, never to be undone. Let us not forget the power of their deeds and words. But most importantly, what of the fate of the Sword Coast and the beautiful merchant leader, Sasani? Because of the adventuring group's dedicated work into improving the economy of the Sword Coast and the massive economic strides made by Neverwinter thanks to their efforts, Sasani promoted the members of the group to be the company's co-owners. Together, they utilized the merchant company's powers to restore Neverwinter's splendor, growing it into an economic powerhouse, with its heart located in the now massive structure of Crossroad Keep. After the vanquishment of the Sasaean, Sasani abdicated leadership within the Soringar clan to return to Crossroad Keep, resuming her noble work restoring the economic prosperity of the Sword Coast. True to her word, the elegant Sasani introduced many innovative initiatives to bring wealth and prosperity to the region, but never at the cost of lives or livelihood. She became known as an intelligent and fair businesswoman, and after a time, even her enforced promise of harming no one ceased to chafe her, and she appeared to be almost comfortable within human society. This concludes my tale, dear readers. Though I know not when or how it may be read, one persistent concern still remains in my mind that I must share with you. These events, though seeming separate, have appeared to me to be more closely intertwined than I had previously imagined, each time that I think on them, and a grave chill freezes my bones when I do so. I hope here to report to the world the bravery of the heroes who faced down and defeated the Herald of Zehir, and enter such into legend, that such legends exist to inspire us in the days ahead. So, reader, I stand by my fear that something dreadful is coming, perhaps something that shall change the face of the realms forever. I can only hope that brave heroes, like the ones that I was privileged to journey with, can step from obscurity and face the darkness when it arises. And to my friend, the esteemed Elminster, if this book sells well, I'm going to publish my work about nymphs in Samarak. I have an interested buyer. With flourish, Volothamp Gedarm, historian and traveler of Faerun. The end. And so, dear readers, here, but what you may ask, happened after the fall of Zehir's dread herald. Fear not, my good readers, as my name... From what I've heard, it seems Samarak is experiencing a renewal of sorts, relaxing some of their more stringent requirements for entry and becoming slightly less offensive to foreigners. Though I would love to claim credit for this, I must admit that it should go to the adventuring party, who went out of their way to aid the nation, and thus perhaps won some grudging thanks from them. Now, as for with the raging storm, but under with the as for so event might with the loyal for the but most importantly, what of the fate of the sword after the fall of Clan Sasaean and the tragic death of the Soringar princess Yuan? Dozens of long-slumbering Yuan-Ti plots were sprung throughout Toro, causing countries such as Thindol to fly into a panic and start mass at Crossroad Keep. The ownership of the merchant company Sasani once led became a hotly disputed topic, and the matter was eventually settled by placing ownership in the hands after Sasani's death. The merchant company did its valiant best to aid Neverwinter in its economic struggle, assisting it through a long... Though Neverwinter remained politically strong. This concludes my tale, dear... These events, I hope here. So reader, I can only hope, and to my friend, with flourish, the end.